Russell Westbrook nailed 2 key free throws. Then he got a game-sealing block in the Clippers' upset win over the Suns in Game 1 of that series. After the matchup, Paul George said that's why the team signed Westbrook, even though he'd been traded and bought out earlier in the season. We've got a special guest. Good morning, NBA champion Eddie House. We're so glad you're with us. Eddie, do you think Russ is overrated or underrated?
I think he's underappreciated. And to me, that's really what it is. Everybody's going to look at the stat sheet and they see the 9 points, the 3 for 19. But if you watch that game, you understand the impact that he had. And I'm not talking about the last few plays that he had, the offensive rebounds and the steal. I'm talking about early on in the game when he took the challenge against KD. I thought that's part of the reason why Kevin Durant didn't have a rhythm at the beginning of the game, because he was sped up a little bit and he wasn't able to get into his normal rhythm, his normal shot, because Russ was putting pressure. Russ was underneath him the whole time and sped him up a little bit. And it took a minute for KD to get his rhythm. And once, you let a guy get a rhythm like that, he's going to knock down shots. But to me, Russ is invaluable for what he brings besides the scoring. Yeah, there was probably a handful of possessions there late where I was like, hey, what are you doing? Slow down a little bit. But defensively, offensive rebound in the basketball, and just being a leader actually on the court, having that fiery competitive spirit, everybody followed suit. And I thought that it was exactly what the Clippers needed against a team like the Suns.
I agree with you, Eddie. It all depends on what you're asking them to do, Skip. See, I think the thing is people say he's overrated because you're basing it off Russ at his greatest. He's not that. They don't need him to be that, Skip. You have to understand what they're asking him to do. Everybody says, well, he's a failure because the expectations were greater in L.A. for the Lakers than they are for the Clippers. Remember now, the Clippers didn't trade for him. They picked him up off the scrap heap after Utah bought him out.
That's fact.
That's a different than you trading 1, 2 first-round draft picks and players to get him in. Because now, obviously, when you do that, Eddie, you know the expectations. Man, look at what they gave to get Russ. It's kind of like what Rudy Gobert is going through. You give up 4 first-round picks, players, pick swap, and Rudy comes in and he's Rudy Gobert, he ain't Shaq. Man, he's terrible. No, he's Rudy Gobert. So I think the expectations have subsided. I agree also with you on this, Eddie. If you base Russell Westbrook, if you say because he only scored 9 points, he's overrated, but he did so many other things that contributed to winning, a la 6 rebounds in the fourth quarter, taking the challenge defensively on Devin Booker, distributing the basketball. So he did other things that create winning other than score. So if you just base everything on scoring and him being efficient, Skip, he's a 44% career shooter. 11 of his 14 seasons, he's been under 45%. So we know Russ isn't efficient. He also can play this style of basketball, Eddie, because Paul George isn't there. He missed 16 shots, and Paul George is there. Now, Paul George is going to get out of rhythm. Somebody's going to get out of rhythm. Kawhi got 25 shots, Skip. You know Paul George is going to get his shots. So there might not be 19 shots for Russ to have.
No.
So he can play the style of ball that he's playing with no Paul George. But because of it, because he assisted the ball, he did other things that contribute to winning other than score. I think his value is where it should be. Now, you ask all the Laker fans, they're going to say he's overrated. If you ask the Clipper fans, they're going to say he's underrated.
I guess.
It all depends on who you asking. You ask Skip Bayless, I already know the answer.
I do too.
He got to get a new TV, Eddie.
I got to get a new TV. Eddie House, you and I have gone back and forth on this issue before. Love you, man. But look, I told Shannon yesterday, Russell Westbrook is against my basketball religion. I just can't, I can't even begin to wrap one arm around him because he's everything I don't like in especially a point guard. So not only is he way overrated, but he's way, 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 way overappreciated because there are those around the league, Paul George, and in the past, LeBron James, I mean, Anthony Davis, they campaigned to go get Russ. They have awe of Russell Westbrook because he plays so hard. He averaged a triple-double 4 out of 5 years before he came to Los Angeles. 4 out of 5 years. I never thought I'd see 1 year of anybody averaging a triple-double in this era.
Right.
He did it 4 out of 5. But it's all about me and not we. This man is a turnover machine. You know it, and I know it because this year, once again, he led the NBA in turnovers per 36 minutes because he didn't get to play as many minutes. Last year, he just flat out led it in turnovers all the way to the bitter end when Trae Young overtook him because he sat the last 3 games.
Right.
He can't shoot. He can't shoot free throws. He's bottom of the barrel in three-point shooting percentage and bottom of the barrel in free throw percentage. And yet, I had to sit and stomach the other night a team that I picked in Phoenix to win it all, let Russell Westbrook take over the fourth quarter with, what'd you say, 6 total rebounds?
6 rebounds.
He had 6 rebounds in the fourth quarter.
Offensive.
It's impossibly wrong by the Phoenix Suns. And yet, in the end, Russ is 3 for 19. And Devin Booker, and I know Eddie loves Devin Booker because he's been courtside and watched a lot of Phoenix games. Devin Booker loses his mind because Russ can't hit the broadside of any barn, and he tries a shot, if we could see it one more time, at the end of the game, and Book goes and slaps 5 with him and fouls him on a shot that Russ shot so badly it hit the backboard. He almost accidentally banked it in, and he sent Russ to the free throw line, and to Russ's credit, and I guess it was no shock because every once in a while he's going to find some free throws, and he rips both of them. Then he goes down to the other end, and the more I look at that last play of the game, Russ did foul him. He slapped his hand, and Book turns to the ref and is complaining about, you didn't call that? And the ball is live, and Russ ain't going to quit on no plays, and he just smashes it off Book's knee, out of bounds, game over. Way to go, Russ. So Russ gets all the credit for both offensive and defensive plays. And for the most part in the past, he didn't play any defense. You know, when he was a Laker, he didn't play any defense. And yet he's the hero of the game, and he should have been 3 for 20. Seriously, should have been 3 for 20. What am I supposed to do with this? Except just sit here and suffer. I just got to suffer in silence, I guess.
Well, if you look at what he did defensively, if you are you love basketball, right? You should be appreciating the defense that he put out there, the way that he was able to play and bring the team home, go to the free throw line. You talk about LeBron all the time being scared of the free throw line.
I do.
He walked up to the free throw line and knocked 2 down.
He did.
Right? And then made a big play. This is the problem. It's not a rust issue. Like when we're looking at this team, I'm looking at, I said it the very first time I got back on the show with you guys. The reason why I don't trust the Phoenix Suns is because I don't trust their bench. Their bench came up with 10 points, right? And when you look at, they gave up 9 offensive rebounds. They're having an issue with the 2 bigs, with Plumlee and with Zubac. They're having a problem rebounding. When Chris Paul leads your team in rebounding and you have a 7-footer out there, there is an issue. When you have 2 7-footers, actually, with Kevin Durant and you have DeAndre Ayton, and Chris Paul is leading the team in rebounding, to me, that is an issue. You got to figure that out right there. And you got to figure out how you're going to manufacture points from the bench because, I mean, the way it's looking now, not only did the Lakers win, I say that I think the city of LA won the trade deadline because you talk about bringing Eric Gordon in, you bring Russell Westbrook in, Norman Powell, you brought Plumlee in as well. The Clippers did a great job at the All-Star break, at the trade deadline too, and kind of flew under the radar because everybody talked about the Lakers. But I'm telling you, the 10 points off the bench and CP leading the team and rebounding, to me, that's the major issue. It has nothing to do with Russ. It has everything to do with the Phoenix Suns.
Whoa, wait a minute. I'm not going to let y'all do this. Y'all just, I remember when this trade happened, Skip Bayless said, Phoenix, you guys just won the NBA championship.
We're at the Super Bowl.
We're at the Super Bowl. Then Skip said that. Hold on. People said the Phoenix Suns were unbeatable with Kevin Durant.
Well, they went 8-0.
Not all of a sudden they ain't got no bench. You don't need no bench. Because I remember a time when LeBron James said we top heavy, we ain't have no bench. Woo! This man here lost his mind. Charles Barkley lost his mind.
And then LeBron lost his mind at Charles.
I said, oh, so now you got the best player on the planet. You don't need no bench. You should do away with the bench.
Eddie, speaking of bench, Terrence Ross can score the basketball.
I can't tell.
Hey, T.J. Warren can score the basketball. Guess how much run T.J. got the other night? How about zeros? He didn't even get in the game.
T.J. hasn't been good since the bubble.
That's not true.
I'm telling you, you can't do nothing with 4 minutes, though. Terrence Ross went out there for 4 minutes. I mean, you up and down the court twice. You might not even touch the ball. You ain't got no action to do nothing in 4 minutes.
Well, you better guard somebody. We can't have you out there. You not making no shots and you not guarding nobody. So what, I'm going to leave you out there for to get some cardio in?
4 minutes ain't enough, man. You got to be out there a little bit longer than that. That's like 2 or 3 trips up and down the court.
That's what
and your man, so if I let you out there on the court for 2 or 3 minutes and your man scored two of those minutes you out there, what I'm supposed to do about that?
I don't know. I'm trying to get some get back. I'm trying to give me a shot or two. I got to run the floor. I got to sprint, get to that corner. Hopefully they double team somebody and get it kicked to me. But I got to try to find a way to get some get back. I mean, but that's me, and it's hard. I mean, it's hard when you're not in the rotation.
Right.
Yeah, you can't get any rhythm, man. It's extremely hard because now you're trying to figure out where do I get shots, who you taking shots from. Really, I think the issue with the Suns or their bench, they're gonna have to try to manufacture scoring off of there, and they're gonna have to rebound the basketball.
Yeah,
those two big, Plumlee and Zubac, were they combined for 26 rebounds and 7 of them offensive.
So, Eddie, to sum this up, are you suggesting the Clippers are going to eliminate the Suns in the first round?
I'm not suggesting that because I expect Kevin Durant to have a huge bounce back game and be super aggressive. So and they're at home. So I'm not going to go out and say, I expect the Clippers, but I expect this to be one of those series that I was extremely excited about coming into the playoffs and is living up to the billing.
What they going to do about Kawhi?
You ain't got no answer for him.
Well, you better find.
They ain't got no answer for him. I don't care what they do, who they try to throw at him. They don't have an answer for him. And so you're gonna have to pick your poison and say, okay, let him get off, and you got to try to, slow down the rest of those guys.
Well, you better call some computer guy and troubleshoot because you a problem.
Well, they're gonna just hope his knees start barking at him. That's what's gonna happen.
Well, what you call him bumped him? You see DeAndre Ayton bumped him when he got the and one, kind of like what Joe Ingles did to him. Was that Ingles?
Also was Joe Ingles, now Buck.
Tonight, 10 o'clock Eastern. Gonna be a good one.
Yeah.
All right, Eddie, stick around. I am obsessed with this Warriors-Kings series, and I need to get your thoughts on if the Warriors have any chance of digging out of this 0-2 hole that they find themselves in. That's coming up next right here on Undisputed.